What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at it again with another New York Giants video. So first things first, we did sign Adoree Jackson. Now this isn't an Adoree Jackson video, not really making a reaction video for that. I am going to link the stream that I did last night, however, which basically encompasses my whole reaction to Adoree Jackson and all my thoughts to him. If you guys want to see that, it should pop up right now with the eye. You don't have to watch the whole stream. It's going to be like the first, basically the first like 10 minutes of that stream is me giving my thoughts on Adoree Jackson. If I were to summarize it quickly, I'd be like, holy shit, we got Adoree Jackson, guys. Oh my god. You know how much this opens the draft for us? First of all, we now have one of the best secondaries in the league, right? Adoree Jackson plus James Bradbury plus Darnay Holmes plus Jabril Peppers plus Xavier McKinney plus Logan Ryan. That's a top 5 secondary in the league. We already had one of the best defenses in the league. Now, I don't know where it goes to. We were number 9 last year. We're probably top 5 now. And this is something I talked about in my video yesterday, which was what would happen if we get Adoree. So you know what? My thoughts are kind of between that video and the stream. And also, this opens up so many options for the draft, guys. Like, you could go literally anywhere in the draft now. I'm almost convinced we're going to go O-line again, which I don't really have a problem with. Go ahead. Completely sure up that O-line, build it through the draft. You do that, Gelman. You do that, Judge. But I'm so happy because now we're not. You can literally go anywhere, man. I'm not gonna be angry with any pick that the Giants make. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because they did such a great job in free agency with filling in our holes. With that being said, we filled in another hole today, or at least I don't think we filled it in. This might have been maybe more of a leadership signing, maybe more of a a depth signing, low risk, high reward type thing. They just signed outside linebacker Ryan Anderson from the Washington football team. He's a 26-year-old guy. We signed him to basically a vet minimum deal. I think it's 1 year, like $1.1 million, something around that. Literally a vet minimum deal. Very cheap contract, and we shouldn't even be able to afford this as cheap as it is, because I'm gonna get into later the black magic that Kevin Abrams is working right now with the cap space. With us giving Adoree 16 mil this year, I'm just like, where in the world is this money coming from? I ain't complaining because I'm loving it, you know what I'm saying? But we signed this guy. He comes on, pretty sure he's a depth piece, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? I don't really like the signing. I'm not saying it's a bad signing. I think it's weird, right? I think it's a good signing because literally you're paying the least amount of money you have to pay to an NFL player, and if he works out, he works out. Once again, it's a low risk, high reward. I just don't like the signing because I don't really believe in this guy, and I hope he proves me wrong. But Ryan Anderson, he's been with Washington. We've seen him past couple years, okay, and I think we kind of know what he is. He might have been misused before Ron Rivera got there, because I've seen, for example, Joe Renan tweeted that he's an outside linebacker that was kind of miscast in Washington. He can set the edge. Not much of a pass rusher. He's a leader, a Joe Judge type of guy. And not surprisingly, he's also from Alabama. So right there, that's why I'm like, he's basically a depth signing for what I'm getting at. And he might have been miscast in Washington before Rivera got there. We have to acknowledge the fact that Ron Rivera is a good coach. And just like how we're building our culture over here, they're doing that over there in Washington with Riverboat Ron. So I really doubt that he might have misused Ryan. Obviously, it's not impossible that, the guy probably slipped past his lens or something. But I think he would, know how to use this guy over there in Washington. I'm just going to assume so. Either way, just because of that, I'm like, he probably is what he is in the league, right? It's not a surprise that a second-round pick didn't really work out. But I look at it also as a replacement for Kyler Fackrell, because once again, the black magic that Kevin Abrams is working with the cap space right now, I'm not even sure how much cap we have, and we're going to get into that like literally in a couple minutes. I'm thinking they're going to have to replace guys like Kyler Fackrell, who probably would want $3 million a year, which isn't that much in the big scheme of things. But right now, I'm gonna have to guess that we're gonna be really tight on cap. All right, we signed Leo, we signed Kenny Galladay, and we signed Adoree Jackson. If we're not tight on cap space, I don't know what in the world is going on with the NFL. The cap is a myth. The cap is mad fake. All right, I don't know what to say, but this guy very clearly to me might replace Kyler, and I would prefer to keep Kyler, because I feel like Kyler fits us better, and he's also a better pass rusher than him. But I'm not complaining about this, right? I want to make this clear. I don't necessarily like the kind of player he is, but I ain't complaining because we filled in so many other holes that we could have filled to just kind of stabilize the edge, so to speak, not necessarily solve the problem at edge, but we could stabilize it. And now with one of the best secondaries in the league, that only helps out your front seven, you know what I'm saying? Now with a second linebacker next to Blake Martinez, it only helps out the front seven in the pass rush. So I'm all for it, all right? I want to clarify that. I am all for it. It's a vet minimum deal. There's nothing to complain about. And now let's talk about Kevin Abrams, all right? And let's talk about this Adoree Jackson contract. So for those of you that don't know, we signed him to a 3-year, $39 million a year deal, 26.5 guaranteed. So it averages out to 13 mil a year, which is higher than I thought it would be. You know, I was thinking maybe he's gonna get 7 mil because, you know, he was cut by the Titans in such a surprising fashion. Maybe he would be on a prove-it deal. I'm glad that he's not on a prove-it deal. I'm glad that he's on a 3-year deal. I'm glad that it's a 3-year deal that the Giants have been giving out the past couple of years. We gave it to Blake, we gave it to James, we gave it to Leonard. We didn't give it to Kenny, but Kenny's 4-year deal is basically a 3-year deal as well. It's like the same structure, if that makes sense, right? I'm liking this because it's 3 years, but it's realistically 2 because we have the option to get out in the 3rd, right? It's a very, very strong deal, and he's getting, I believe, $16 million this year. Like as of right now, he's gonna be making $16 million or up to $16 million. Now, a lot of fans, they saw this, you know, both Giants and non-Giants, the NFL in general, they saw this deal and they said, wow, what a massive overpay. And my response to that is, yes, but actually no. It's not a massive overpay. It is a little bit of an overpay, but it makes sense. I mean, when you're in free agency, you're going to end up overpaying for good players, and he is a good player. Once again, the key word here is that he was surprisingly cut from Tennessee. Now, I'm going to trust that it wasn't because of a character issue that he was cut, because Judge, as usual, took him into a meeting. They did their research, they did their interview, and they deemed that he was going to fit what we're building here. So I'm fine with that. That means he's going to slide right in. Probably something else. Maybe he didn't want to play in Tennessee. Maybe they said to themselves, we're going to get somebody better in the draft. Maybe he said, we're tired of dealing with your sprains, because he's not an injury-prone player. It's not like he's broken bones or anything. It's mostly been sprains for him. So I got faith that he could recover and hopefully be stronger with the Giants. I do need to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? You know, there is a little bit of health concerns there, but it's not massive in my opinion. Now, the other reason I say it's not an overpay is because he's a really good player, but also if he gets back to form when he's healthy, this is a guy that was one of the best corners since 2018 on the outside. If he gets back to that form and he stays healthy, he would be commanding a lot more than $39 million over 3 years on the open market. You know what I'm saying? We gave James Bradbury, who by the way is underpaid, so you know, shout out to the front office for last year, because James Bradbury is only getting $15 million a year, I think. He is underpaid. The top corners in the league right now are getting wide receiver money. They're getting like 20 mil a year, 19 mil a year. James Bradbury should realistically be earning like 18, 19 mil a year. And when we restructure his contract, because I think we do, and extend him, that's the key part too. We need to extend him. I think we're probably going to give him a little bit of a raise in the later years here. And if this guy right here in Adoree gets back to form and stays at form and stays healthy, he's honestly like a 16 mil a year type of guy, a 15, 16 mil a year type of guy. So when you look at it from that perspective, he's kind of underpaid like that. But for this year, yeah, it is kind of massive. I'm not gonna deny it. That's why I said it's black magic. I don't know how Kevin Abrams is working this space right now, because I don't even know what the Giants have in cap space right now. Remember, we entered the offseason, or we entered free agency with like negative $3 million in cap. Overthecap.com doesn't have the updated numbers. I don't think Spirac has the updated numbers. I'm clicking it and for some reason it ain't loading. But there's black magic afoot, because we weren't supposed to get Leonard Williams and Kenny Golladay. We got that. We weren't supposed to get them two and Adoree Jackson. We got that. And somehow we're still signing more players. I ain't complaining. I'm loving it a lot. And the front office needs to get credit right now, because they're doing this amazing work with the limited space. I could only imagine if it was a normal offseason how the moves would have been, you know what I mean? I really do feel like we're at the point where we don't need to sign more players, for example, in next year, and it's just all about keeping the guys we got here, and that's a great place to be. So, put your thoughts down below, let me know what you all think, like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.